Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinodihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupananda Gauri Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinodihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Hari Naam Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. So we will begin with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauri Diti Guccha, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamana. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamanam Shri Guru Vaisnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Savagana Raghunatham Vikantam Sajivam Sadvekam Savadhutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Savagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vikamshra Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayanitti Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sulaksham Audaryamadhurya Gunashtrayuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvam Shirasam Namami Trinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padam Jagadaika Hridni Chaitanya Leela Sarasar Narayanam Tvam Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaura Presthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragya Deshavayati Namine Adivadya Charitraya Svashrilanam Chaparine Jiva Dukhe Sadarpan Shri Nama Premadayine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna साक्षान्मैरण्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भारसम्बोधे पदम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्तिविरोधाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगमनाय ते गौराविर्भावभूतेस्त्वं निर्दिष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतां सुरतोपं मम मन्दं मते गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधावदनमोहन नित्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमल श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव कृष्णानि सेव्यमानुस्मरामि। श्रीमद्रससारम्भी शिवतस्तुतः दर्शन्मेयुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः। वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। चैतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहानामग्निनिर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम्। आनन्दं मुदिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मास्मपरं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्। हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं खलु नास्त्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। दंडवत प्रणाम वैष्णव।
दंडवत प्रणाम राधे राधे।
Boro Kripa Kori, Gurudev Boro Kripa Kori, page 33. Boro Kripa Kori, Gora Mono Maje, Bodu Mediya Chosano.
Boro Kripa Kori, Gora Mono Maje,
Gora Mono Maje की जय। हे वैष्णव ठाकुर दयाल सागर हिदासी करुणाकुली पेज 39। Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala. Page 58. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Shri Advaita Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Jai Chaya Jagatadura Jai Jai Chaya Emon Shachira Nandana Bine by Sri Premananda Thakur, page 70. Excuse me. Radhe Radhe.
Hello.
I told you.
Hello.
I told you.
Hello.
Panch.
Hello. Hello. Radhe Radhe.
I told him before 4 o'clock. Okay, 1 second. I don't even know. I turned that off. 1 second. How do we turn that off? Airplane mode. There we go. Check. Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe. Shri Shachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Emon Shachiranandana Bine Shachiranandana Nandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Oh. Today is also Ekadashi for us here in Vrindavan, so we will sing Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu.
Page 216.
216. And if you don't have a songbook, then Jiva Pavana Prabhu, Dandava Pranam, very kindly and mercifully posts the bhajans, as you may have seen in the comment section of the thread. So just scroll to his most recent post, and there you will find the bhajan along with translation and generally so many wonderful commentaries from our Guru Varga. Thank you, Prabhu.
Dandavad Pranam.
Bhakti Ekadashi ki Jai. Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Yanukula. Shuddha Bhakata
Charana Renu Bhajana Yanukula.
Bhakata Seva Parama Siddhi Premalati Karula.
Bhakata Seva Parama Siddhi Premalati Karula.
Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Madhavati Bhakti Janani Jatane Palana Gauri. Krishna Vasati Vasati Gauri Paramayadare Gauri. Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Yanukula. Gaurayama Esavasthane Karalo Brahmanarange. Se Savasthano Heri Boyami Pranayi Bhakata Sa अवसर सदा जाचे गौरविहितो कीर्तन शुनि आनंदे हृदय नाचे मूर्ति देखिया मोर परम आनंद होया प्रसाद सेवा करिते होया सकल प्रपंच माधवतिते एकादशी की जय। कृष्ण देव भवन्तं वन्दे। 343 in our songbook. Krishnadev bhavantam vande. Krishnadev Vande Krishna Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite.
One page back.
341. Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Rani ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. A little bit. I know, but I can see too.
Should do more cones with that. You'll be fine. Do more cones with that.
I can't. The power's about out. Bring it up here.
You have to fix this one. It's smaller.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Gauranga ki jai, Radha Bihari ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Hare Ram Sankirtan ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishna Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishna Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga, Gauriya, Guru Varga. And to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
And if you can send some prayers for Lindora, who left.
Her name is Lindora?
Lindora, she left her body last night.
Okay.
So she's very dear to her.
Okay, so one of our regular members on this, who's with us practically every evening, one of her best friends just passed away from cancer last night, Lindora. So we can send prayers her way that may her Atma, due to the close proximity of her devotee friend, make rapid progress on the path of bhakti due to the benefit received from that association and also from our prayers. Sometimes people think that you can't do anything for someone else, but on the path of bhakti, we have so many proofs in Shastra that one can offer the results of their activities for the benefit of another. Which is interesting because today is Ekadashi, and we have also heard many kathas about this. In fact, one of the very first times I was with Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj, and he told it many, many times, but in this case I'm remembering, we were in the Mutt, the temple in Faridabad, and there he was telling one interesting katha. one interesting story. He said there was once one great and powerful rishi. His name was Vishvamitra. Now, he's mentioned in so many shastras, so we should understand that he's no ordinary person. He's also an eternal associate of the Lord. We see him in the pastimes with Sri Ram also. He came to the palace of Dasharath Maharaj and requested for Ram to come and to battle the demons because only Ram could kill them. Dasharath Maharaj did not want to let go. He said, you can take me. The queen, Kaikeyi, was also a very great warrior princess. She said, take me. And he said, no, only Ram. So he brought Ram with him. He taught Ram and Lakshman so many things. It was like they were in his Gurukul, in his school. So he's no ordinary personality. And yet, he also reveals so many pastimes for the benefit of the world where it appears that he himself is subjected to weakness, like we see with Bharat Maharaj and so many other great personalities like Jai and Vijay, who became demons for 3 births and terrorized the universe, including all devotees. They also terrorized the devotees as demons because Narayan wanted to fight. So we should understand that those personalities mentioned in Shastra are not most of the time like we are, actually bound in this material world with this mundane consciousness. They're transcendental, eternal associates of the Lord. Anyhow, so Vishvamitra, he wanted to become known as the most powerful or greatest rishi, the king of all rishis. So there is Maharshi, and there are some Maharishi turns into Maharshi. This is the greatest title known to all rishis. And this was given to Vasishta Rishi, who was the guru of the family of Dasharath Maharaj, of the royal family of King Ram, of Prince Ram. So he was the guru of that family, and he was teaching everything related to bhakti and everything else. So Vasishta is famous throughout all Shastras as a very great Brahman. And there are those who are coming in his lineage, where they have that family name Vashisht, coming from Vasishta Rishi. So Vasishta Rishi, he was known as Maharshi, or the greatest of all rishis. But Vishvamitra, he wanted the title Rajarshi, the king of all other rishis. So Maharshi Vashisht was there, but he wanted to be even the king of the Maharshis. So even at the get-go, at his start, his desire was for ego, was for position, power, pratishtha. It was not for bhakti. He just wanted to be the topmost. So this is the desire for pratishtha, to be the supreme, most recognized, glorified, admired rishi of all rishis. And so he began doing intense austerities. First he asked Vishvamitra for, give me this title. And Vishvamitra said, how can I give you this title? Because Vishvamitra could never tell a lie. So he could not just give him this title and say, you are the king of all rishis. So he couldn't do it. So then Vishvamitra did intense austerities for thousands and thousands of years. And finally, after all of these years, he was still trying to get this title, Rajarshi. Vashisht would not give it to him. So then he thought, maybe there's another way I can get this position. So he invited Vasishta to his place. And he provided amazing prasad, amazing reception, treated him like Indra was coming from heaven to his home, gave him all kinds of honor. It is said in Shastra that if you have an invited guest, you should treat them like Indra. And if you have an uninvited guest, because you really don't know who they might be, you should treat them like Narayan. Maybe Narayan is coming to your home. So an uninvited guest should be treated like Narayan, and an invited guest should be treated at least as good as Indra if he were to come to your home. So he treated him so nicely, offered him so many sweet words of glorification and everything. And then Vasishta wanted to repay reciprocate. So he invited, but he was very poor. He did the best he could, but nothing in comparison with what Vishwamitra gave. And Vishwamitra was becoming very upset. It doesn't seem fair. I'm giving so much, and I just want this little title, and he won't give me that title, and look at how he's reciprocating. So it wasn't fair. Finally, they went in front of Anantashesh. Anantashesh himself, who was holding all the universes on their heads. And there was a debate, because Vishwamitra thought it was not fair what Vasishta was doing to him. It just wasn't fair how he was treating him. So it was almost like, okay, you are the balancer, you are the one who can give out proper judgment and give proper balance. You can solve this legal battle. And so Vasishta did not have anything. So what was it? Oh, finally, Anantashesh said, okay, there was a question. There was a question that came up. And Anantashesh said, I have to think about this. I don't remember all the details, but there's some importance there. So he asked Vishwamitra, can you just hold one of these universes for me while I'm thinking about this question? So Vishwamitra is holding it for a little bit of time. By the power of his austerities, he's holding this universe. And it's becoming heavier and heavier and heavier. And finally, Anantashesh is asking, well, do you have anything else that you can use to hold this universe up? And he's thinking, I don't know. And he asked Vasishta, is there anything that you can give him? Anything at all that can give him the power to hold this universe? And Vasishta, he requested, can you give the power of one Ekadashi? And Vasishta said, okay. So he gave the power of one Ekadashi, and by this, one of his observances of Ekadashi, Vishwamitra was able to hold this universe, this planet, not this planet, the universe up. And then he realized what is the power of devotion. So I can't remember the story exactly, please forgive me for that, but there was something in the power of devotion versus all of the power of intense austerity for pratishta. If one is utilizing their service, their body and their senses and everything in the service of Krishna, then all Shakti is present. Like Mahaprabhu says, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita Niyamitas Smaranena Kala Etadrishi Tabakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivam Idrishamiha Janinanuragaha. That you have invested all of your transcendental potencies, all of your power, Sarva Shakti, in your holy names. And holy names, chanting the holy names of the Lord, is one of the main processes of bhakti, and especially in this age of Kali, it is said there is no other way, no other way. So it is the prime process of devotion to pleasing the Lord. In this age of Kali, Kalo tad dhari kirtanat. All of the benefit that one may attain from all other processes in different yugas can easily be had in this age of Kali simply through kirtan of Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. So I was sharing that katha in terms of being able to offer the benefit of one's practice for another. And it's not that one loses. One does not lose when they are offering the benefit. You know, you think, okay, if I'm offering this benefit, then I lose everything. But one doesn't lose because the transcendental is always complete. So if one is offering benefit, then they're also receiving benefit themselves. So for doing parikrama, for offering the benefit of any endeavor that one does on the path of bhakti, that may someone else also share with this, there is some potency that can transfer. And that's why when our Gurudev would tell us, state your names, when he was offering all of us to Giriraj, it wasn't so much about all the foodstuffs we were carrying on our heads, all of the butter and yogurt and milk and everything else, all of the preparations that we had. But then as he was making the offering, he told all of us, state your names. And we didn't only say our own names, but we said the names of everyone that we had any affection for, that may they also be offered at the foot of Giriraj. So we can also offer the benefit of our practices for another, for their spiritual benefit. We can pray. I remember when my father was just about to disappear from this world, we had the opportunity, or received the opportunity, to choose when to turn off life support. And Ekadashi was just coming up in 1.5 days. And so I had a chance at that time, an opportunity to call out to the world. My father, Matiladish Prabhu, is about to pass away from this world. We've decided that we will remove life support on Ekadashi. And so if you can offer any benefit, share the benefit of your Ekadashis. And so many devotees said, I'm going to chant 64 rounds on this day and offer the benefit of that on Ekadashi for him. I'm doing parikrama, I'm doing this thing, that thing. And they were sharing all of the benefits for his spiritual benefit. I really hope he appreciates that. I'm sure he does, as he's gone. But I was telling this also in the case of Jayanti's friend who just passed away, that we can also offer some prayers for her spiritual benefit, because that Atma is in its essence an eternal servant of Krishna. And actually for us, there is nothing that is more powerful or beneficial for us than the prayers of the Vaishnavas. Look at our own situation. On our own, we might be hopeless, but if we take shelter of Vaishnavas, the Vaishnavas will petition the Lord profusely on our behalf. So here we have again the proof that they are petitioning on our behalf. If they can petition on our behalf, then we can also petition on someone else's behalf. In the same way that we can bring any new person. Oh, Gurudev, look, this new flower has come. Please offer this flower at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So we can also petition for someone. Everyone else, you all have had the chance to see Gurudev so much. Let this new flower, let this fresh one have an opportunity to receive his darshan. So we can pray on others' behalves. And so on this day, Ekadashi, this is something to consider, that we're following this vrat which is actually for the purpose of serving and pleasing Krishna. If we do not observe Ekadashi exclusively or explicitly for that purpose, then our Srila Gurudev said it will be nothing more than karmakanda, means reward-seeking activity. Why? Because Krishna reciprocates. If you chant Harinam only with the mood of, I want money, I want to enjoy in this world, I want position, name, fame, adoration, and all of these things, then Krishna and his name are non-different, abhinatvanam, and he will reciprocate with you according to your desire. Therefore, if someone only has that mood in their heart and no prayer for devotion, then through the chanting or the singing of the names of Krishna, or even the glorification of the names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna, one can increase their kanaka, their wealth, their kamani, their sense gratification, and their pratishta, their name, fame, adoration, distinction, position, power, and all of that. When we come into the association of Vaishnavas, by their association, Brahmand Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. Guru Krishna means Krishna in the form of Guru, and that means Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, Sadhu Guru, Vaishnavas, pure devotees of the Lord. Bhakti Lata Bij. This means the desire or the inclination to serve Krishna is awakened by their association, because their inclination to serve Krishna is so great. So this is our hope. This is our aspiration. Maybe we might be doing so many different activities on the path of bhakti, even following Ekadashi. If we're just doing it because we don't want to receive any negative result like going to hell, that's not really bhakti. I don't want to go to hell doesn't mean I want to love Krishna. There's a very big difference. One is saving myself from horrible suffering. That's different than the other side completely of loving and serving Krishna. So the mood of the devotee when approaching any aspect of bhakti should be grounded in the definition of bhakti. Then we can apply that properly to any of the processes. When it is said, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padaseva, these are the 9 processes of bhakti mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So then we need to understand what is bhakti. The best definition of bhakti is given by Rupa Goswami, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishna anushilanam bhaktir uttama. What is exclusively for Krishna's happiness, pleasure, and benefit, without desiring anything for oneself, without the desire for any reward in return. I'm going to serve you, so give me something also. The devotee only wants devotional mood, devotional service, birth after birth, as Mahaprabhu said, Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatat bhaktir ahaitikitvayu. Only unprecedented, no material cause, transcendental love and affection for Krishna, which is manifest in the form of seva or service, birth after birth, in any situation. So bhakti is devoid of this reward-seeking mood. I'm going to serve you, so you should also serve me. There was one person back in the day, I think it was in the time of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and he was glorified by thousands and thousands as being one of the greatest devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he would give beautiful classes and kirtans, and thousands would flock to him and subscribe to him. And Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, was always a bit skeptical. They say it, yes, we'll see, like this. And then that person's daughter became extremely sick, and she was about to die. And then he started bargaining, as people do when someone in their family is about to die, or when they're about to die. They start bargaining. Oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will truly be glorious. Your glories will be spread throughout the 3 worlds if you save my daughter. Then you will be glorious. So immediately, this bhakti, which appeared as pure bhakti from the vision of the population of this world, immediately was shown to be not pure bhakti, but karma mishra bhakti, mixed with desire for some fruit of return. You save my daughter, then I will glorify you. Your glories will be spread everywhere. And then his daughter passed away. And then he became upset and rejected. Oh, you didn't fulfill my desire. Like this. Then it was shown for what it really was. It wasn't bhakti at all. There was no exclusive devotion without any ulterior motive. So these tests, they come to everyone. And we will also have to pass these tests one day. And we've seen it, actually. Recently, I saw some faces of some devotees who were in very, very high position when we were young. They were very respected members of our community, but something happened. They lost their child, and they gave up the path of bhakti immediately and fully. They could not digest it. So this is some kind of bargaining. This does not mean one has bhakti. So if we apply bhakti, pure bhakti, to all of the processes of bhakti, by the definition given by Rupa Goswami, then we can actually really receive the true benefit. And the true benefit is nothing other than the increasing awakening of the mood of loving service to Krishna. It's not like there's a plant that's growing like this and then it's going to actually wrap around Krishna's feet and make fruits. That's an analogy, an idea. But Bhakti Lata Bij literally means the seed of the creeper of bhakti, according to all revealed scriptures and all sadhus, all kathas and everything. It is in itself sadhu sangha, the hari katha, and the association of the pure devotees of the Lord. That awakens within our hearts the desire, the nature, the inclination to serve Krishna. That is called Krishna Seva Vasanam. So when we say Bhakti Lata Bij, that seed, this is sadhu sangha, which awakens our tendency or our inclination to serve Krishna. And this is essential for us to understand if we want to progress properly on the path of devotion. Otherwise, it's easy to get caught up in the allegory or in the example without understanding its purport or its true meaning. That's why all of our Guru Varga are giving commentaries constantly so that we can understand the truer or deeper meaning of these things. Otherwise, we might only see the sutra, the external, and not be able to, on our own strength, dive deep into its true understanding or true conception. So when anyone is moving forward on the path of bhakti, it is essential that we are reading, it's essential that we are studying, it's essential, more than that we are hearing from and associating with pure devotees and serving them as well. Then we can actually understand properly because they manifest that true knowledge into our hearts. Yasya deve para bhaktir yuta deve tataguru tasyaite katita hyartha prakashante mahatmana. They will manifest, prakashante, into our hearts, that truth. Like Lord Balaram did to Ugra Shravasuta, who became known as Suta Goswami, the son of Romaharshan. Yesterday we read and we heard that everyone honored Baladev Prabhu, but this Romaharshan intentionally neglected to honor Baladev Prabhu because he was so absorbed in receiving honor and glorification from everyone. Thinking that I am so important and so high, he did not stand to honor the original source of Shastra, the glorification of Krishna, and the unbroken original source of Guru, Baladev Prabhu. Baladev Prabhu immediately saw this person is unfit to be in this position, touched him with a blade of kusha grass, and finished Romaharshan. All the sages became, what? We came here to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. What you have done is good, but still, please, we would like to hear the glories of Krishna. Immediately, what did Baladev Prabhu do? He placed his hand on the head of Ugra Shravasuta, the son of Romaharshan, and in a moment, all transcendental knowledge was revealed within his heart, by which he was able to speak and understand all Tattva, Siddhant, Shastra, Lila, Katha, and everything. Srimad Bhagavatam was manifest in his heart. And so our process of revelation is not that by my own power, by my own reading, even by my own strength of doing the activities of bhakti, that I can access perfection. Only by my sincerity. The depth of my sincerity and the depth of the moods of connection that I have with an intimate associate of Krishna, pure devotee, will that transcendental knowledge of my relationship with Krishna actually awaken in my heart. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't do the other things. They have told us to do it. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he asked, why do we do sadhana? He said, you're sadhana on your own. You cannot access the transcendental by your own power. Who is beyond the realm of the material mind and senses and intelligence and everything else? Adhokshaja. So why do we do sadhana? Why do we practice? Because Guru tells us to do it. And when he sees we are sincere to receive what he wants to give us. Remember, our process is not the ascending process by my own strength. I will capture the infinite. Our process is the descending process. The process of receiving mercy. So why do we do sadhana? Because Guru tells us to do it. And he tells us how to do it and with what mood to do it with. And by his association, gradually we develop that sincere sentiment. And when he sees, you will not give up. You are continuing. You are maintaining your conviction. and you are endeavoring more and more to follow what they have, the prescription they have given, then they will give something. They will awaken something. What will they give? Divyam Jnanam, transcendental knowledge will be manifest in the heart. So with any activity that we're doing on the path of bhakti, including hearing, chanting, remembering, serving in the temple, cooking, following Ekadashi, doing parikrama, so many different things, worshipping Thakurji, chanting our mantras, everything. If we are doing it with the right mood and the right intention, then we can have hope of receiving that mercy. So the right mood and the right intention is with bhakti for the purpose of pleasing Krishna. So if we look at our practice and ask ourselves, will this be pleasing to Krishna the way I'm doing it? I don't know. Will it at least be pleasing to my Gurudev or Mahaprabhu, my endeavor? Or at least beneficial for them? If we have that answer in our heart very strongly, this means our intention is right, it's correct. And if we do everything with the proper intention, then we have maximized our opportunity for receiving that transcendental benefit. Now we should not think that desire for Krishna bhakti is the same as material desire. Ahoitiki apratihata does not mean, now sometimes people say it means causeless. Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj said, it doesn't mean causeless, it means it has no material cause or motivation, but it has a spiritual cause. The root qualification for attainment of Krishna Bhakti Ras is the intense greedy desire to have it. But what is Krishna Bhakti Rasa? Krishna Bhakti Rasa means the nectar of loving service to Krishna. So that is why Krishna cannot repay, because the devotee does not want anything from him. They only want to love him, to serve him, to please him, for his happiness, for his pleasure, for his benefit. That is the meaning of akinchan, nishkinchan. They don't want anything. They don't need anything. They've understood and realized that I am made. I have been created, in a sense. My intrinsic, transcendental DNA, my makeup is Nitya Krishna Das. I am made to serve and please Krishna. I am for him. That is my nature, that is my function. And anything else that I try to apply this thing to, it will not be satisfied, only to bring it to Krishna. So this is the path or the process of bhakti. And if we always have that verse, Anyabhilashita Shunyam, as our foundation, what is the definition of bhakti? And we apply it to every activity of bhakti that we're doing in the day, in the night, or any time, then it will be properly channeled, properly utilized. Otherwise, it's very easy to get a bit sidetracked, I would say. Sidetracking can happen so easily because Maya is so powerful and so magical. We can be chanting and then we'll be like, okay, I'm going to chant this, this round so that my favorite team wins. And it's so easy to just get caught up in that. Like, I was chanting, how come they didn't win? This process doesn't work. Using the activities of bhakti for the material process, this is not really bhakti. It's not focused on Krishna. So this is the subject that our Gurudev has been speaking about in this Going Beyond Vaikuntha. So now we are going to continue going beyond Vaikuntha. This transcendental literature is actually a treasure full of beautiful transcendental gems. This is the commentary of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, on the beautiful heart's manifestation, what he has witnessed in samadhi, in transcendental consciousness. Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, and this is the journey of Gopkumar. So we will pray to them in the words of Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairagya Juga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnair Apayanan Mam Anubhikshamandam Kripangudir Yapada Dukaduki Sanatanastvam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest itself within our hearts. So we ended on a sweet note yesterday. I'm just going to double check here, make sure. Okay. It's a very good point, Anjali, Didi. Right mood and right intention. Well, one thing I wanted to share. If our intention is correct, that I am really making an honest endeavor to please Krishna, based on the following of the teachings of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Because if we're just doing it on our own and we know better, then we might not be doing it right. But we understand that to serve Krishna, we must be under guidance. Bhakti means to be under guidance. So with intention, really making the endeavor to understand what is bhakti, and then trying to apply our energy in that light and on that path with that intention, then even if we accidentally make some mistake, because the intention is correct, very quickly Krishna will adjust it, fix it, and put us back on the proper path. Krishna says it in Bhagavad Gita 9:21. Apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisaha. If they are my one-pointed devotee, exclusive, bhajate mam ananyabhak, without any other, my one-pointed, exclusive devotee, technically the chance of them doing anything which is opposed to Krishna is like more infrequent than winning the lottery 10 times in a row, because they're exclusive to Krishna. But Krishna gives a little, even if, apichet means even if that possibility does come, where they somehow accidentally do the worst possible thing. Suduracharo, the worst possible thing. Still, because they are exclusively devoted to me, one-pointed, then they should still be considered a sadhu. Sadhu eva samantavya. And this doesn't mean that one can just be a complete nonsense, do whatever they want, and just claim, well, I'm a pure devotee of Krishna, and then everyone else goes, wow, look, it's a pure devotee of Krishna, and they're just a complete, utter nonsense. This is not the definition of sadhu. And then Krishna says, in that case, if their intention and their attention and their focus is exclusive and one-pointed, but maybe due to some prarabdha karma, something from some previous lifetime, there's some echo of something which manifests something. Still, they should be considered a sadhu. And Shipram bhavati dharmatma sachvach chantim nagachati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktya pranashyati. That very quickly I will reinstate them to their original position where they were, and they will continue where they left off. And then he tells Arjuna, you declare boldly that my devotee will never perish. In other words, he will be successful. So this verse is perhaps, the Apichet Sudurachara verse is perhaps the most abused verse in all of Shastra. And it's something to be meditated deeply upon. We will see discussions about that in so many places. Also, Bhaktivedanta Thakur has gone into it. It is there in Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentaries, in Madhurya Kadambini, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, our Gurudev's commentaries, our Srila Prabhupada's, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, so many personalities have commented deeply on this verse. And so we're not going to go into it right now. But if your mood and your intention is correct, then you might make some mistake. You might go off the path, and Krishna will quickly place you back on. But if your intention, if your mood is actually full of duplicity and hypocrisy, in other words, by some pretense, I will take this position so that so many will glorify me, so that so many will love me, so that so many, then I can take my pick and enjoy. Like that. This is the ulterior motive. It looks good on the outside, but what's going on the inside? Our Srila Gurudev spoke about this quite often. There's different kinds of personalities, and one was compared to a crane, Bach. What does the crane do? He stands in the water on one leg, looking like a very, very content yogi. Right? He's just standing there, so peaceful, so content. But what's going on in his mind? Where's the fish? Where's the fish? As soon as the fish comes, I'm going to catch it and eat it. So he's only desiring that. Outside, he looks completely controlled. Bak means crane, right? Standing on one leg, perfect yogi. But what's going on inside? Oh, the heart is only desiring. I want that thing. I want that thing. And the moment the fish comes, then you see this yogi crane. He strikes and catches that fish for his enjoyment. And immediately swallows it really quickly and then again stands like this. So we can see inside our own hearts. If we are sincere, when we look inside, we can judge ourselves. We know what's going on to a certain extent. Sri Guru can see millions of lifetimes of what we've been doing and thinking, but at least we can look at our own hearts for now. Yes, what is the nature inside? What is my intention? What am I doing this for? Am I doing it with that intention, or what is my real intention? If I'm doing activities knowingly that Guru and Krishna and Mahaprabhu will be displeased, then why should I expect the result to be bhakti? That's just nonsense. That's nonsense. And there won't be any bhakti as a result. But if I'm making an honest endeavor on the path of devotion and some weakness manifests itself, then quickly Guru, Vaishnavas will place us back on that path. I've also had some experience like that, where I thought one thing that I was doing would be pleasing to Gurudev, but when I was questioned about it, finally, in terms of will this be pleasing to Mahaprabhu, I understood at that time, oh, Mahaprabhu would never accept this. And immediately I stopped it, and then I was able to continue. So, because my intention, even in doing that activity, was to please my Gurudev, I think it was honest, to some extent, then Gurudev allowed me to continue where I was. If my intention was something else, it would have been a very different picture. So I experienced it to some extent in that case. So now I want to continue reading this. Okay. Madhumangal, will you please post a link to Srila Trivikram Maharaja's whole class on it? Thank you. So we ended with that sweet note yesterday. If someone offers just a little simple puja that is genuinely for the pleasure of Krishna, then he accepts it. But when there are impure motives in the puja, he will not accept it. So we were just speaking about impure motives. Then it won't be accepted by Guru, it won't be accepted by Mahaprabhu, it won't be accepted by Krishna. We've seen this in the case of Chota Haridas. Not Haridas Thakur, Chota Haridas. Externally, he was carrying massive bags of rice on his back for long distances, back and forth between the home of Didi, Madhavi, the associate of Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's place in Puri. And externally, it looked like he was doing such immense service for Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu knew his intention. He was using that external service as an excuse to go see the young maidservant of Madhavi Didi. Madhavi, not Didi, Madhavi. Is she a Thakurani? I don't know. To go see her young maidservant. And maybe they weren't even having much discussion, only receiving and giving like this, but even one moment of a glance with the eyes. And Mahaprabhu knew this young sannyasi is using this as an excuse. He's using his activity, which appears to be bhakti, as an excuse to go and meet with this person. So Mahaprabhu rejected him. I don't accept your service. Your service is a lie. It's not real. You're making it look like that, but you're a pretender. You're a cheater. And you're in the renounced order of life. I don't accept it. I reject it. Mahaprabhu took this very strong stance because Mahaprabhu is also a sannyasi. If you accept service like that from someone who is trying to cheat and who's duplicitous and like this, then this can also affect one's consciousness. So Mahaprabhu was very careful who he took from, where he ate from. This is important in our process of bhakti. Srila Prabhupada was very, very careful. When we were young, we never even ate canned food. Everything was fresh, everything was made for the deities, everything was done with the intent of increasing our bhakti. Over the years, everyone has become much weaker. But I remember one devotee telling us how the first time she had a container of yogurt from the shop, she felt so bad. She was like, oh, I'm so fallen. This is how strict everyone was back in the day. And those of you who were there remember it. Nowadays, people are putting onions and garlic and all sorts of things in front of their deities and offering it like they will accept it. And all kinds of food made by materialistic persons, eating regularly from them. But Mahaprabhu said, if you eat food cooked by persons who are of the materialistic mindset, then your heart will become wicked. But we don't listen to Mahaprabhu anymore. We listen to the sentimental ideas of the people of this world. Even those in the name or in the forms of devotees, it seems like, will be encouraging us to do those kinds of things. And then we won't realize what happened to my inspiration on the path of bhakti. Slowly, slowly, due to mundane association, through receiving service, due to eating the cooking of those who have a mood which is antagonistic toward my Gurudev, my Guru Varga, my mind, my consciousness will become polluted. And then I'll think it's not a big deal to change the teachings of my Gurudev, to reject them or to even mock them as something unimportant, or something that is of Kali Yuga. I will mock the teachings of my Gurudev. And this is going on these days because of associating with all kinds of mundane things through so many different mediums. Of course, we know there's the medium of eating. There's also the medium of just normal association, where I'm putting my heart and my attachment. We should develop close friendships with those who are devotees, if we want to develop a devotional mindset. It doesn't mean that one should not have friendships with others, otherwise how will they benefit? But we should not accept the negative thing. We should accept the positive thing and try to share the positive thing. And also this comes, I hate to say it, but we all know it, through the media. All kinds of media. We all have a device, or two, or three, or four, or five, and we associate with the mundane atmosphere through these mediums for hours and hours every day, completely open to it. All kinds of media through magazines and newspapers and digital newspapers and magazines and all kinds of shows and everything else. And then we wonder why our consciousness is so far away from bhakti or devotion to Krishna. It's because we have chosen to take asat sangha instead of satsanga. And we can just look at our own hearts and see. And know. And know. And this is just practical. It's not a criticism of anyone. This is just for us to reflect on our own. What is going on? Why am I so far away from maybe where I was at one point on the path and where I think I should be? And during this crazy, crazy time when so many people are dying around us, why am I not really, really taking it seriously? I could be next. I don't know. But I'm not taking it seriously. What is my causeless unwillingness due to? Usually it is due to asatsanga, unfavorable association, coming through the medium of what we eat, what we hear, what we see, all kinds of association, what we are attached to. So we should become attached to devotees and utilize all of our senses, like Maharaja Ambarish, Savai Mana Krishna Padar Vindayor Vachanchi Vaikuntha Gunavana Varnane, all of our senses in the service of the Lord. When Gurudev would give Harikatha, he would say, give me all of your senses. Completely absorb. Don't let them go here and there. Give me all of it. And then he would give us Krishna in return. So we can look at ourselves and think, yes, we should never be hopeless. We can't be hopeless because the nature of the soul is to love Krishna. But we can still look and go, yeah, I did this. I did this because I was not following the instructions of my Gurudev. I was neglecting Harinam. I was neglecting my mantras. I was not following Ekadashi properly or even offering offerable substances to Krishna. I was spending most of my time playing and hanging out and associating with material energy, material things, mundane things, and this has affected my consciousness. Simple. Krishna says, you will become what you associate with. Even in this life, what you speak of after this life. As one is absorbing their mind, they will certainly attain that. And so we can see it practically in our own lives, where we might be, I have neglected to follow the teachings of my Gurudev. Hari Hari Vipale Janama Goinu Manushya Janamapaya Radha Krishna Nabajya Janiya Shunya Bishakainu. I have rejected serving Radha and Krishna and instead have knowingly drunk the poison of this material world. What keeps me bound in this samsara? The repetition of birth, disease, old age, and death. I have done this. Gora Pahu Namajya Mainu Prema Ratana Dana Helaya Harainu. Narottam Das Thakur is saying, I have been given that greatest treasure, but I have neglected it and instead taken to all kinds of mundane things which have bound me in this material world. Knowingly drunk poison. And Srila Gurudev said in this connection, he said, you're coming to me and asking, give me this, give me that. He said, I cannot give you poison. How can I give you poison? I cannot. He said, if you want poison, you can go to the bazaar, you can buy it yourself, drink yourself, but don't ask me to give it to you. I cannot do it. It's impossible for the form of the mercy and compassion of Krishna, the embodiment of that mercy and compassion, to give us something which is detrimental to our developing love and affection to Krishna. It's against their nature. If someone is doing that, you should look, whoa, this is not increasing my affection for Krishna. This association is pulling me away. Why was I encouraged to do these nonsense activities? Dragging me away from bhakti. This is violence to my own soul. We can look at it for what it is. And then we can understand what is favorable association, what is unfavorable association. Gurudev said association is the most important thing. Unfavorable association can drag the mind of even one who is exclusive to complete nonsense. And favorable association will drag the mind of even one who's a complete nonsense to perfection. So, Durlabhamanava, this human form of life, is extremely rare, but we should utilize every moment to take the association of pure devotees. Durlabha manava janma satsange. Taraho e bhavasindure. This will take us over the ocean of material existence, this blazing forest fire. It will rescue us from that. To take the association of sadhus who are connected to the absolute truth 24 hours a day. So Srila Gurudev is saying that if one has impure motives, if one is actually not being honest in their motivation, or their intention is actually opposed, they have some other agenda, like I mentioned Chota Haridas, then Krishna will not accept that puja. Therefore, at the time of offering, we must have the proper sentiment in our hearts, and also at the time of taking his name. Sometimes we may say to someone, hey, you, come here. If we call Krishna in the same way, will he listen? If we call him and the correct feelings are not there, he will not listen. As when we were younger, there was a kind of a joke that devotees had, and they had one thing called jibber japa and another thing called jabber japa. So many different kinds of japa. Everyone knows what gibberish is? Gibberish is when you cannot understand what's being said. So jibber japa is like that. There's no connection to what one is chanting. And jabber japa is when you're chanting your japa, you're just looking for every reason to not really chant your japa, and you want to talk about everything else of this world. Hare Krishna, oh my God, did you hear what Trump said today? Oh my God, oh my God, those demons. Oh my God, all these kinds of things. Ram Ram, Hare Hare Hare, oh yeah. Right? This is jabber, which is talking about mundane things. And radar japa, you know radar japa? You know? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just investigating everything else around you, but not really paying attention to what one is chanting. And there's, what do you call it, machine gun japa, you know? Hare Krishna, like this, and your japa mala is rolling through your hands really fast, like machine gun bullets. So many different kinds of japa. And so this was a common joke when we were growing up, you know, like, okay, yeah, it's not really japa. That's why Prabhupada would say, sit properly, focus, give your attention to what you are doing. So Gurudev is saying, if you're just saying, hey, you, over there, is Krishna going to listen? If you have no intention, are you really calling his name? Are we putting any attention or intention into our calling him? If we're not calling him with the correct feelings, then he won't listen. We may say to someone nicely and with some feeling, please come and take prasad. If we approach Bhagavan in that mood, he will come. Otherwise, if seeing that an offering is late, we rush through it by quickly chanting, Om Krishnaya Namah, will he come? Only when there is sincere desire from within will Bhagavan accept an offering. Otherwise, he will not be hungry and he won't accept it. I remember when Gurudev was telling how some people are doing arti. He said they'll be going for half an hour, 45 minutes, doing this, and Krishna's thinking, oh my God, I'm getting hungry. They're taking so long, and they're just doing this, and then exercise with the chamara up and down, and then twirling it like this, and Krishna, he said, Krishna will become afraid that you will drop it and the chamara will hit him. He said, Krishna will leave and you will be there doing your big fanciful show, and he will be long gone because he was hungry. He says, so we should take into consideration Krishna when we're doing any service to Krishna. What would be pleasing to him. So don't make it too long, but don't rush it either. Something what is pleasing to him. Only when there is sincere desire from within will Bhagavan accept an offering. Otherwise he won't be hungry and he won't accept it. We should consider these things in whichever limb of bhakti we are engaged in. If we are preparing food but we have no genuine desire to please him, we are not in the proper mood. Then the deity won't accept any of it because he has no need. As Krishna was completely not hungry when Duryodhana offered him this big feast of perfectly prepared preparations, Krishna was like, I'm not feeling hungry today. But when he went to the house of Vidura, he was so hungry that he ate the banana peel she was offering, because her mood was love and affection, whereas Duryodhana's mood was against Krishna's devotees. So he had no hunger whatsoever for that. So this proper mood and intention is everything. So if we have no genuine desire to please him, we are not in the proper mood. Then the deity won't accept any of it, because he has no need. He is hungry only for prem, transcendental divine love and affection. He's hungry only for that. Sudevi?
Yes?
Can you share what Gurudev said about Narayan?
You can.
I can't remember. I just want to prove to you that Sudevi is still here.
No, I just don't want to sit in front of the camera
Don't worry,
right now.
sit behind the camera. You're in front of it on that side.
So, you were just telling this the other day, though.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
About a month ago, I
No,
forgot.
I heard it like 3 days ago.
Please tell it properly. Thank you.
So Srila Gurudev was explaining that first he just said Krishna doesn't want your remnants. And he was expressing that if we go to cook and we're trying to find all of these wonderful items and we're thinking, oh, my children will like this, my husband will like that, all of my family members and I myself will like it. And then as an afterthought, we offer it to Thakurji, we offer it to Krishna. He said it's already been enjoyed by you. Krishna doesn't want that thing. He wants love and affection. He doesn't need the rice, dal, halava, puris, pakoras, laddus, rasgullas, sandesh, and sweet rice from this world. He doesn't need any of these things. And then he said, when we are offering to Thakurji, we are offering our very hearts, our hopes, our aspirations, our fears, everything that we're carrying in our heart that we want to offer to Guru and Krishna. That is what he is accepting, the essence of that. That is why Kishori Mohan Prabhu was saying that we don't eat from materialists, because the essence of their mood enters into that substance very subtly and then very deeply affects us. We're taking it into our bodies.
So then we develop greed for making money.
Yes. So in the same way, Gurudev was saying Krishna doesn't want this thing. He doesn't need our prayers. He doesn't need our songs. He doesn't need our cooking. He wants love and affection. And then Gurudev said, just like when someone is very young, they spend their time in this world enjoying, taking and tasting and having so much fun, eating everything, all kinds of pakoras, all kinds of things that later on in life we realize I can't digest. He said, then when you become old and you can't digest anymore, your hairs are turning gray and your teeth are falling out, you have some realization that, oh, I cannot enjoy in this world anymore. At that time, you throw your arms in the air and you say, hey, Krishna, I'm yours, I'm yours. Gurudev said, this is giving Krishna your remnants. You've used this body, your mind, your words, your energy for you, for this material world, for all of your material desires. And at the end, when you can no longer fulfill them, then you offer yourself to Krishna. He said, this is giving your remnants. Krishna doesn't want remnants. And then he said, he wants young and fresh. Luckily, the Atma is always ever fresh, ever beautiful, ever young, and ever ready to offer everything to Krishna. It's our subtle bodies and our gross bodies and minds that need to open up to that and catch up. So That's what Gurudev said. He said when, I forgot this part, he said when you're offering something to Krishna in front of Thakurji, and you've already enjoyed it through offering it to your family in your mind or tasting it yourself in your own enjoying tendency, when you put it in front of the Lord and you start to call Krishna by ringing the bell, Gurudev said Krishna will hear and say, oh, Narayan, somebody somewhere is ringing a bell. You should go and remove the karma from that thing they are offering. Gurudev said that Krishna doesn't mind. He'll do this. He doesn't mind just removing the karma. He doesn't need that exchange of love and affection. But not Krishna.
Narayan, you said Krishna.
Sorry, Krishna. Krishna needs love and affection. Narayan doesn't mind. So Gurudev said whenever you're doing that kind of ringing the bell, you should think ding ding Narayan, that you are actually not really offering to Krishna. This is why when we're cooking, when we're buying vegetables, or when we're picking the vegetables, whatever we're doing, we should do in Krishna consciousness, and that will attract Krishna. Otherwise, Gurudev, the other day I read it. Can you just read it really quick?
Sure.
Okay.
Of course.
I'm getting, don't move.
Don't move. Right, whenever she tells that, I laugh, because when Gurudev would tell it, he'd be like, you're ringing a bell, ding ding, Narayan, like this. But it's such an important point. And this was one of the specialities of our Srila Gurudev, to somehow inspire us to inject every activity that we do on the path of bhakti with mood, with intention. So here, Srila Gurudev, after answering questions, asked a devotee, didn't you just read this the other day?
Yeah, but not
on this one.
Do you want me to
No,
read
no.
it if you can't read my writing?
Where is dakshina? Where is dakshina? Dakshina means when Guru gives initiation or Guru gives anything to you, you also have to give something in reciprocation. And then he said, oh, I don't want money or anything, but I'm giving transcendental things. You'll have to give something transcendental to me. If you're not paying, then this, what knowledge I'm giving, it will not be established in you. So, Gurudev is saying this very clearly. If we're not giving something in return, then what he's giving will not establish itself within us. So it has been told in Gita also. What? Tadvidhi and seva. What is seva? Dakshina is seva. That means to give something in reciprocation, something transcendental. Then you'll be very strong, and you can preach my mission also everywhere. This transcendental knowledge is very rare in this world. Very rare. I have some touch with transcendental persons, and they have given me some, very little. And that is why I am giving all of this. But you should know, oh, you should know, I am very tricky. I will go in your heart like a needle, and what will be? Whole heart I will take. I will remove all others from there, and then alone with Krishna I will sit. It's very beautiful and powerful. Did you want to add something in this connection?
I just wanted to say something to Mamata. She's saying, is it better not to offer when one is in a hurry, for example? No. Ding ding Narayan is better than just taking karma and killing any kind of plant or vegetable for our sustenance. It's always better. Even when we are traveling, you know, we try to offer something when we're in the car, whatever we're doing, we try to offer as much as we can. But when you have an opportunity to cook, it's good if you actually cook when you're not really hungry. If you take a little fruit or something beforehand, and then you cook for Thakurji, you cook with the mood of service. We can arrange certain things so that it can be like that. Like sometimes, you know, if I know that pumpkin needs to be cut for the next day, I ask Kishori, Mohan, Prabhu, can you do it tonight? So then tomorrow, my time and my energy will be spent differently. so that I can cook easier. So we can make arrangements to make offerings from the heart ahead of time. If you pre-cut or you do any of those things, because I know people are working and I know that they have children and there's so much going on. The main thing is to try to be conscious of what we're doing and to try to make it an offering. We know, for instance, if we're making something like lasagna, I have to be honest with you. I've been telling Kishori so often, if I make anything even a little bit fancy, it's not really fancy, I don't deep fry or anything, but offering it to Radha and Krishna is very easy for me. I can offer it and call them to sit. But then when I start offering it to Guru Parampara, and I'm looking at Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, I'm looking at Param Gurudev, and I feel really embarrassed. I'm thinking, how is their renunciation? What were they doing? How were they following? They weren't taking and tasting to eat. They were keeping body and soul together only for service. And we do it opposite. We do everything for our pleasure, and we think that keeps our body and soul together. It's a completely opposite. Not that they're not eating, but their eating is seva. They're not eating, they're honoring. So everything is a matter of consciousness. But yes, we should always offer. Even I grew up, believe it or not, we would always, when you would have like potato crisps or anything in the car, if you couldn't offer, we'd always just say Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu.
Even with water.
Even with water. We wouldn't do a whole offering, but we would even say the names of the Lord. But growing up, we'd say Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu.
Or Om Tat Sat, thanks a lot.
But, we would do something, anything to honor this, that I'm taking something for my sustenance, and I should first at least respect it. Really quick.
You're going to tell that dream you have?
Yes.
I was going to ask you.
Excuse me for being kind of Mayavad about this. I'm trying not to be impersonal, but once I was asleep, I do that often, and I had a dream of Srila Gurudev. And before I fell asleep, this is many, many years ago, before I fell asleep, I was eating Cheetos.
Do you know what Cheetos are?
They're like these puffed,
really orange,
corn,
cheesy puffs.
Cheese puffy things. So I was eating them and really enjoying these really cheesy puffed things. And I went to sleep afterwards, later on. And all of a sudden in my dream, Gurudev came. I was at my sister's house. So it was at my sister's house. And Gurudev came in and he sat down and he grabbed the bag of Cheetos and he was trying to eat them, but he was turning away in disgust, but he kept trying. And I felt really embarrassed and I said, Gurudev, I can cook for you. I can make you something else. And then he looked at me in my dream very seriously and said, whatever you eat, I will also take. And it really frightened me that this body belongs to my Gurudev. I've placed him in my heart. He's not some abstract personality that is only present when I call him. He is there. Paramatma is there. Gurudev is always with us. Just because we turn away doesn't mean that he turns away. So to be conscious of that, that is okay. We might not be able to be the best. We're not full-time pujaris. We're not full-time, being able to live under a tree in Vrindavan. But we can do our best from where we are. So if it is at that moment and we just try to offer for a moment, Shri Krishna, or hey Gurudev, I'm rushing out the door, please accept this, please offer it to your beloveds. I'm so bogus, what can I do? And then go on, but don't just take the things of this world and not offer gratitude, not offer some prayer, because then what we will only be taking is sin. Yes, you will be breaking your Purushottam Vrat if you eat Cheetos. Oh, he's asking, will Gurudev come in your dream? Listen, Gurudev also told me many times we shouldn't believe in dreams. But the point was taken. I understood that what I should do is I should offer everything. And if I feel that it's not offerable to Guru and Krishna, then how can I take that thing?
Also, how can I offer it with affection,
Yes.
with love?
Yes. So that was the point I was just saying, that like with even Radha and Krishna, I'm offering something a little bit more luxurious. But then, of course, I have to offer it after to all Brajabasis, Sakis. Then you go down to Guru Parampara, and I'm like, can I imagine giving this on the plate of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj? Sakshat Vairagya Murti, the actual embodiment of renunciation. Here, have this, yeah. So anyway, it's making me more and more conscious. The more I am trying to be aware of my Guru Varg and what they are giving, the more I'm understanding what is for the pleasure of Krishna and what is for the pleasure of myself and my husband. If it was for the pleasure of Krishna, why would I feel embarrassment offering it to our Guru Varg? So this is my sickness, and it's showing me that.
Wow.
Oh, that's so funny. Everybody likes Cheetos. Naughty!
In this connection, there's a very practical application as well, and we've experienced it a lot in our own lives. Sudevi has become severely sensitive to chilies, spicy food, and I'm also allergic to it. My mouth breaks out in ulcers, and I get all, if I eat chili. But it actually really hurts her. She ends up very sick for quite a long time with it. And we always let everyone know in advance, she cannot take this, it hurts her. And then we go different places and they put chili in it. And they say to us, but it's good. We said, but we asked for not. Oh, there's not much, just one, just two, just a little bit like this. So are they cooking for their own ego, for themselves, to make it taste good for them, or do they care about their guest? This is the question. Have they applied that principle of affection in that I'm going to make this person that I'm invited for lunch or dinner very, very sick for weeks because either I have failed to acknowledge their diet or I have just tried to superimpose what I like onto them. And the same thing goes with Krishna. We should look what Krishna likes, what is favorable to Krishna, then that will be cooking in Krishna consciousness or cooking with consciousness of Krishna. What will I offer him? What does he like? My Gurudev has told me to do this. Gurudev knows what Krishna likes because Gurudev knows Krishna. Gurudev knows how to serve Krishna. So when we serve Krishna, we do it under the guidance of Guru. Then we can know how to do it properly. Krishna says, if you are simply eating for sense gratification and not doing it as an offering unto me, then you're only, actually the word they used in the translation, verily eating only sin. There is no thing in this world that anyone can do that is not related to some kind of sinful reaction.
But this is Boga. Once Srila Gurudev said that when we accept initiation, we make a vow to not take Boga. Boga doesn't just mean, we call anything unoffered like foodstuffs Boga. Oh, that's Boga. This is Prashad. But Boga means enjoyment. So that means with our eyes, our ears, our nose, our mouth, our bodies, our senses, our minds, all of this is Boga if it's not used for the service of Guru and Krishna. And we can't just do that artificially. That's why it's called practice. And that's why we're training by taking baby steps. We not like that. We may not be able to, we not like this. We may not be able to be like our acharyas, but they are that symbol for us, that kind of goal and aspiration. One day I want to serve in such a way so deeply that I forget everything, what to speak of cooking for others or myself. How Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who was taking the mud? Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. taking the mud because he wanted to taste sweet rice and became blind because of that. So these Vaishnavas are a symbol and an example. They've come to show us how we should actually surrender everything, and automatically everything will be offered to Krishna, but not artificially, always under guidance and with a mood of prayer. Please, Gurudev, help me to understand these moods. I don't want utsahamai,
false enthusiasm.
And I don't want pretension. I don't want deceit and duplicity. How can we stay simple? By checking our pulse in our daily life. When I'm sitting down, can I even chant for a half an hour without my mind rushing to all different places? We can really, at these times, pray from the core of our hearts to these Vaishnavas. Oh, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, how could you sit in one place and chant 1 billion names of the Lord? You didn't even have time to fix your hut. You held an umbrella over your head. How can I also come to this stage when I can't even spend 5 to 15 minutes? Oh, please give me your mercy. Help me. Ha Gurudev, Hare Krishna. And praying like this. Our sickness can be that burning fuel for us to skyrocket toward our goal. But if we just just say prayers and call them out in tunes, but we don't connect to them by heart, then what are we doing? We're singing beautiful tunes. We're singing these words. And it may be that the Vaishnavas will take mercy on us because we're doing that. But how will our heart actually melt? When we really take into our hearts these moods and this Krishna conscious practice, we must do sadhana. It means that there is a practice, there is something to be done. And we do that alone in our hearts and in our minds, not just when we're in an assembly of devotees. Our practice is done in front of our Gurudev, completely open, like an open book. I have nothing to hide.
So this very, very powerful and beautiful remembrances and instructions that we've received from our Guru Varga. It's late now, so I want to end with something sweet, because this is a very intense act. It's all sweet because it's all leading to opening our hearts in bhakti, but still it's intense reflection. And it kind of makes me look like that, I feel like, inside. But Mamata asked, what did Srila Gurudev like, by the way? And I love that question. The first thought that comes to mind is dal puri. There's something called dal puri. It's like a roti or chapati or puri, which has some kind of dal inside. And it's done very nicely, and it's soft and beautiful. He loved it.
He also liked dal with drumsticks.
Dal with drumsticks.
He liked those. All I know is that he loved hing. He loves hing and jeera.
Jeera is cumin.
And mustard oil.
But I'm going to share 2 quick stories with you. So, once upon a time, we made sandesh for Gurudev.
We heard he loved sandesh.
So, we made it the best we possibly could, just making it so smooth. It's curd, paneer, just smoothed out until it is so soft and fluffy. You can just crack it. But it's kind of a dry Bengali sweet. It's so nice. It's kind of dry and juicy at the same time. And we put in some saffron and in some rose. And just very light, gentle sweetness, because we heard that he only takes light sweetness. And Maharaj, Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, as he would do, puts extra on Gurudev's plate with the expectation that Gurudev will only take what he should take and not too much. So the next time we saw Gurudev, first Maharaj chastised us heavily.
He's like, why you made like this?
Why you make so good?
Gurudev ate everything!
Yes, and then we went into Gurudev's room and Gurudev was like, I got in trouble today.
He's like, I got in so much trouble. Madhav Maharaj is so angry with me.
He said it was so good I ate all of it.
So we know he likes that.
But then he actually gave us a lesson at that time. because it was hot and it was summer and we had made saffron sandesh, Gurudev said that during the hot months, because saffron is a very heating spice, he said we don't offer saffron to Radha and Krishna. So this was something that we never knew before, and it was such an awakening for us that even in this one little interaction, he was teaching us how to serve Radha and Krishna. So beautiful. But apparently he loves sandesh so much that he got in trouble and we got in trouble for it. And?
Can you just explain what a drumstick is?
A drumstick, it's the fruit of the moringa tree. Everyone's heard of moringa? It's this like amazing miracle green leaf. It's kind of long like this. It looks like a very straight snake. It's got ridges. It's green. And they kind of like...
You boil it in dal.
You boil it in the dal and then you kind of scrape it with your teeth. You can't really eat the outside.
Really
but they used to somehow arrange for him to have them all over the world. Somehow. Magically, mysteriously.
Okay.
And Gurudev liked it. No, I want to talk about the cake.
No, the cupcake's sweet.
Okay, both then.
No, Kishori. Okay.
You tell the cupcake, I'll tell the cake.
Just tell.
Come on, tell the cupcake.
So Vrinda Didi, I'm sure we've all heard, but one time Vrinda Didi, she put a cupcake on Srila Gurudev's plate. The devotees made really nice cupcakes, I think one or two. They put them on the plate to go into Gurudev's room. And of course, yes, Gurudev wasn't supposed to eat it because he was pre-diabetic and he knew that. So he knew he would get in trouble if one of them were gone. So everybody was really impressed that Gurudev took everything, but he didn't even touch the cupcakes. And then when they went to clean his plate and lifted off the cupcakes, they felt the cupcakes were really, really light. And they looked underneath and they saw that Gurudev ate out everything from the inside of the cupcakes and left just a shell and tricked everyone. So we know he liked sweets, even though he wasn't supposed to take them.
So one time in Fiji, Sudevi and I, we had a really amazing recipe for the softest, fluffiest, what they call devil's food cake. And we made the best, softest, what was it? Chocolate? Carob?
Yeah,
it was chocolate.
Yeah.
Best, softest, moist, but nicely cooked chocolate cake for Gurudev. And it was like spongy and everything. We were so proud of it. We just knew this was the best cake ever. And then after, it was offered to him, we went to see Srila Gurudev in his room.
He called us to his room and he said, "Your cake?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, Gurudev, my cake." And he said, "Too much Ross. I like somewhat dry." And I was like, "Who are you? And what have you done with my Gurudev? Too much Ross? You like dry?" But then we realized that he was so used to having the burnt sort of dried cakes that they make in India. The Indian ovens don't work the same.
It's made with whole wheat, atta.
Yes.
And so they're much firmer, much drier. And
all the devotees were thrilled with the cake, but not Gurudev. So yeah, we were kind of like, oh, we failed.
And we were quite surprised when he said that. Your cake? And we were all excited. Too much Ross. Right. But he's like, Rasika Acharya, how could it be too much? He said, I like somewhat dry.
By the way, it was a vegan cake, by the way. Just thought I'd throw that out.
So there you go. So we know that he likes somewhat dry. He likes shandesh, and he likes dal puri and drumsticks and so many other things. And also, we know what Krishna likes. You look at the list of all of the food preparations in that bhajan, Bhaja Bhakata Vatsala Shri Gaura Hari, and in the bhajan for Radharaman, Radharaman Ju Pyaru Ki Jai. Medaki, oh, he likes puris with powdered sugar on them, by the way. Medaki puri. So.
Please forgive me for not coming in front of the camera. I wasn't, Dandava Pranama Vaishnavas.
Is it? It's very late.
8.
Sorry for taking so long. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Please again, forgive us for taking so long. I think I've been doing it as a trend almost every day now.
He would do it all night if he could, trust me.
Well, you asked us to tell what Gurudev likes, so we had stories. So, thank you for being with us this evening and giving us the opportunity for remembering the beautiful teachings and reflecting upon the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and also remembering all of these beautiful stories. It just brings Gurudev so focused and close to our hearts. And also for giving us the opportunity to follow our Srila Gurudev's order to continue traveling and preaching and serving his mission. For that we are forever grateful and indebted to all of you. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat pranam.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna Radhe
Radhe Radhe.
Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki jai. Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai.
Hope you're feeling better, Mamata. Radhe Radhe all Vaisnavas.
Radhe Radhe.